we don't want to, because we like to get the fans some great fights, but we had to box them, and that's what we did.
The fans here in LA, impressive. Over 13,000 here at Staples Center singing El Rey. That means the king. You are the king for now. What comes next? A rematch, or do you want someone else?
He wants a rematch. I'll give him the rematch. Whatever. I want the best. I want to fight the best. I want the big fights.
What does this moment mean to you when you look at the history of Mexican fighters and the history of great fights here in Los Angeles?
I'm very happy. This is a dream this is a dream come true. So I'm very happy, excited, and it was for all my fans that supported me. It was because of them.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Abner.
Before we go on to watch some highlights, it has been 2 years, over 2 years actually. It's been about what, 25 months, close to 26 months since Leo Santa Cruz fought Abner Mares. That was August the 29th of 2015. TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. We're going to be providing full coverage first for this card. Santa Cruz versus Avalos, Abner Mares versus Gutierrez, Saturday, October the 14th. Right now it's October the 8th. It's going to be on 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, and basically it's a long day of boxing. So before we watch a little bit of highlights from Mares versus Santa Cruz, let me just lay out the schedule for you. So for the hardcore boxing fans, you have a long day of boxing. Midday card, if you're on the East Coast, you're going to have George Groves versus Jamie Cox. The winner of that goes on to fight Chris Eubank Jr. in the World Boxing Super Series. Then 7:30 p.m., that fight is actually going to be, they're going to be getting into the ring between 5 and 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Then you have this card that's going to start about an hour or so after the George Groves card. Now, these are all on different networks, by the way, but this card, Santa Cruz, Avalos, Mares Gutierrez, is on Free TV Fox here in the United States. Then after that, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Showtime, you're going to have Justin Swiftherd, Jared Swiftherd versus Austin Trout. Jermell Charlo, Austin Trout versus the for the IBF title. Jermell Charlo versus Erickson Lubin for the WBC title, and then it's going to be topped off by Erislandy Lara versus Terrell Goucher for the WBA 154-pound title. So it's a long day of boxing, but the question many are having is, why hasn't Leo Santa Cruz fought Abner Mares in the rematch? Why is he fighting Chris Avalos? Chris Avalos has fought and lost to Carl Frampton in the past. Andres Gutierrez, who's fighting Abner Mares, was supposed to fight Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton has since split with his promoter, Cyclone Promotions, signed with Frank Warren and Box Nation, you know, and BT Sport. I guess it's Box Nation and BT Sport. And you're wondering, why hasn't Leo Santa Cruz fought either Abner Mares in a rematch or Gary Russell, the WBC champion, Lee Selby, the IBF champion? You know, there's fights out there for him. You know, you got Oscar Valdez, you know, the rematch with Carl Frampton, Abner Mares, you know, so why Chris Avalos? Now, my understanding is that Santa Cruz versus Mares has been in talks for quite some time. It was back in March, I believe, or April. It was early this year when around the spring or so, when the WBA had ordered Abner Mares versus Leo Santa Cruz to fight in a rematch. Now, Richard Schaefer, just this last week, has stated, yes, you know, Mares versus Santa Cruz versus Mares 2 is supposed to happen around, it should happen around March or so. You know, so the goal is for these two to have this, you know, showcase tune-up fight, you know, and then to go on the fight in March. But in a way, this is just, you know, like, stay busy for both of these fighters. You know, that's the best, you know, way to look. Let's go look at some highlights real quick. I can play them in the background while I'm talking. You know, so, I mean, since this is like for Heyman fighters, since all these guys are Heyman fighters that are fighting on Fox and that are fighting on Showtime, I can see the plan. You know, so for fans who know these are all Heyman fighters, so it's kind of like one big card stretched across two networks, you know, being Fox and Showtime. You know, but I just felt as though, you know, they just could have, you know, like done better. Now, it is said that the reason why Mares versus Santa Cruz didn't happen on this date was because of money. For whatever reason, you know, both of these guys are commanding, you know, more money for a rematch. And you should make more money in a rematch than you did in the first fight, correct? Especially if the rematch, if the first fight was successful. So I'm guessing they're trying to come up with that money in some way, shape, or form. How much do both of these fighters make? In fact, let me go check real quick. While that's what I can do. By the way, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. So hold on, I'm going to tell you how much both of those guys made for the first fights. Now, they both made, Leo Santa Cruz made 1.25. Abner Mares made 1.25. They both made the same for their fight. This fight right here that we're showing the replays of. And you have to wonder, you know, where Showtime couldn't, I guess they couldn't come up with more money for Leo. I mean, I guess, what kind of money was Abner Mares looking for? You know, maybe was it him that's asking for more money? Now, this is all speculation. We don't know. You know, but let's go look at the guys' resumes really quickly. Now, this is Leo Santa Cruz, 33-1-1, 18 KOs. Now, he hasn't been doing so bad. You know, when you look at the Carl Frampton, you know, 2 Carl Frampton fights, Kiko Martinez, that was considered somewhat of a reasonable fight for him. And then Abner Mares, but before that, he was fighting sparring partners and all this shit. So he's been, you know, putting on some good fights when you look at his last 4, but then he backslides a little bit when he takes on Chris Avalos, 27-5 or 20 KOs. You know, and as you can see, what year was that he fought Carl Frampton? 2015. This was the last fight Carl Frampton had before he signed with Al Heyman. If I'm correct, you know, he had that fight where he got stopped by Oscar Valdez. You know, he did beat Miguel Flores. I watched that fight. You know, but still, it was just, you know, no, I know the politics and everything behind it, but you're going to have a lot of fans, you know, that are pissed off. You know, and when you look at Abner Mares, even though we're going to talk about him individually in his video, you know, a lot of people thought he was going to lose to Jesus Cuellar, you know, and he had to have a fight this year or he would have went without a fight for the whole year. And then he had, you know, the 2015 fight, you know, 1 fight in 2016 and now 1 fight in 2017. So, you know, these guys need after this card to get back in there in the ring, you know, with each other or against somebody, you know, of credibility. And looking at the 126-pound division, there's a whole lot of fights there. Now, I understand people want to bring up Rigondeaux and everything, but at this point in time, whatever happened between Leo Santa Cruz and Rigondeaux and, you know, in that situation, Rigondeaux was fighting at 130 pounds against Vasil Lomachenko, a fighter that a lot of people feel Leo Santa Cruz wouldn't fight, you know? The 126-pound division has enough fights for Abner Mares and Leo Santa Cruz. For example, where is Gary Russell Jr.? You even got Scott Quigg out there. You got Jojo Diaz, who's approaching a title shot against Gary Russell Jr. He's even ranked very high, you know, by what was it, the WBA? No, not the WBA. Yeah, for IBF. You got. Let me tell you the names in the 126-pound division: Gary Russell, Carl Frampton, Joseph Diaz, Scott Quigg. You know, you got Kid Galahad. He's a little low down the trough. You know, Abner Mares, Lee Selby, Oscar Valdez. You know, you even got Josh Warrington. You know what I mean? Why Chris Avalos? Hey, you know, it is what it is. You know, I understand this is like a showcase fight for both of these fighters, you know, and then tune up for them to fight each other in the future. But it just makes you think like, damn, man, you know, they could have gave us a little something, you know, I don't know, you know, they could have gave us a little something better, right? Just my personal opinion. But anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. We're going to be providing full coverage for that fight via Rob Suarez of FightView 360. Me personally, I'm going to be at the Laura Goucher, Hurd Trout, Charlo Lubin fight. So it's going to be a very, very busy week for us next week. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. TstreeT Controversy, TstreeT Controversy Live.